Hurricane Irene is coming closer every minute with hurricane or tropical storm watches likely for portions of the Carolinas as early as tomorrow morning. The storm's so big that the Navy's moving its ships out of the way in Virginia, and a county in North Carolina has ordered the evacuation of as many as 150,000 people. But the images we're already getting out of the Bahamas show this hurricane's power better than any number can. ABC's Lindsay Davis is there.
Good evening, Terry. No doubt about it, Hurricane Irene is here and we are getting hit hard. In addition to the torrential rain, we have these punishing winds and increasingly rough surf. The storm surge is expected to get to 10 feet, possibly higher, and that could, of course, cause some significant damage here. But the main concern for the U.S. is what happens to Irene as it moves out over the Atlantic and reaches the East Coast. Tonight, officials in Dare County, North Carolina, have declared a mandatory evacuation for all visitors. We're talking about as many as 150,000 people effective tomorrow morning as Hurricane Irene approaches. This is Hurricane Irene as seen today from the International Space Station.
It's hard to believe that it's that big.
It is big. We're actually flying over some of the outer bands right now.
Irene's powerful winds stretch out over 400 miles, the same width as the entire state of Arizona. It's a massive hurricane that is quickly intensifying into what forecasters are calling an extreme storm. Already a Category 3 with sustained winds of 120 miles per hour and carrying with it up to a foot of rain. Irene is expected to strengthen further to a Category 4 as it bears down on the mid-Atlantic coast of the United States and threatens the major metropolitan areas from New York City all the way to Boston with torrential rain and dangerous winds.
This is a large, powerful hurricane, currently Category 3, but is expected to strengthen to Category 4 here. And as this is a very large system, going to have a wide-scale impact here on the east coast of the United States.
Irene is currently tearing through the Bahamas. The storm surge is expected to be as high as 10 feet. But it's not only churning up the surf, rain is coming down in buckets, and the howling winds only expected to intensify. Some tourists were forced to evacuate. What did they say about how dangerous it would be to remain on the island?
They said catastrophic. I'm pretty sure that was the word that they used.
Irene has already hammered its way through the Caribbean, gathering energy as it's carved its destructive path, destroying buildings, leveling trees, and flooding homes. It claimed one life in Puerto Rico, flexed its muscles in Turks and Caicos, and had its way with the Dominican Republic. And that's when it was just a Category 2 hurricane. The storm is predicted to gather strength.
Winds perhaps gusting up to and above 125 miles per hour. We're talking a storm surge over 6 feet, so massive flooding, damage from the winds as well. So this is going to be a very dangerous situation. People need to take this very seriously.
Officials are warning that along the southeastern shores, life-threatening surf and rip currents will develop as early as tomorrow. Irene is expected to deal a glancing blow as early as this weekend to North Carolina's Barrier Islands. Thousands of people have been ordered to evacuate. Federal officials warn Irene could flood streets and knock out power lines as far north as New England. More than 65 million people live along Irene's projected path. It could be the first monster storm on the East Coast in 12 years.
We're expecting hurricane-force winds, perhaps gusts up to 80 miles per hour in the city of Boston and Providence, something that people haven't seen for a very long time. This will more than likely go down as a very historic storm.
Current models show Irene kicking out east and barreling down on Long Island and New England. The last hurricane to hit the U.S. was Ike back in 2008, which hit Galveston, Texas as a Category 2, killing over 100 people and causing billions of dollars in damage. Residents along the eastern seaboard have had a busy year. Record snowfalls this past winter and record heat waves earlier this summer.
Who would have thought we'd be talking about an earthquake and a hurricane in the same press briefing?
After a 5.8 earthquake just yesterday, now Mother Nature is preparing to serve up yet another one of her extreme events. For Nightline, I'm Lindsay Davis in the Bahamas.